Good afternoon, everyone. This is my Saturday. I said, you know what? We're on our way to our church function. So before we go to our church function, it's a Christmas party for our church. And y'all know me and my husband is matching. There you go with his pink on. He got on his pink and I have on my pink, and so we match, and we're going um headed to our church Christmas party, which we are so excited, to be a part of. We're so excited to be a part of this church. We are so excited just to be here in Michigan. So today I just want to talk about being thankful, for everything that's coming to our life and everything that's coming into our life. So tomorrow's church, and then Monday, I have another job interview. And my cousin kind of freaked me out. He's like, you like going to job interviews because after your job interview, your husband usually take you to brunch or lunch. and, and I said, if that was the case, I'd be going to interviews every day because I like brunch. But seriously though, I'm kind of excited about that because I want to work. I do. Like I said yesterday or the day before, I was saying how I'm debating within myself if I want to leave the house. It's getting kind of cold. It really is. It's getting really cold here in Michigan. So that right there is a factor. It's like, I don't know, but I do. I already realized I do, and I'm gonna focus on doing that and everything. And I'm just gonna focus on. I was listening to that. It was so shocking because y'all know how everything in this world is going, and people are just being mean, and people are not being kind, and people just say whatever it is they want to say, and it's okay because it's coming from the head and coming up, going all the way down. So people are basically, just not being considerate. And I grew up in a world where, if you didn't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, there's a couple of times where I wanted to say something, but I just said, you know what? What would my mother think? And I think a lot of us need to start really thinking about that. Before things come out your mouth, just think, what would my mother think if she heard me say this? What would, you know, I couldn't see my mother saying this. I know I couldn't. So that plays a lot of to what goes on with me. You know what I'm saying? Even at this age that I'm at now, my mother is still in my ear. Is that crazy or what? It's, she's hey, Shadow Daddle. She's still in my ear, telling me, just say, that ain't how I raised you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. So, and that's not how I want to raise my family. That's not how I want to. That's not a family that I want to be a part of. I don't. In this home, you know what I'm saying, we treat each other well. We respect each other. If we have disagreements or anything like that, we discuss them. We don't. Oh, excuse me. We don't. Take a disagreement and make it, you know, not nice. You know what I'm saying? For us to say unkind things to each other. No, we sit down and we talk about it and we express our feelings about it. And me caring about my husband and my husband's caring about me, we tend to, you know, get to the bottom of whatever it is quickly. And I wish it was like that with the world. A lot of jobs I left because it was no respect. It was, you know, seriously, it was no respect. It was, people not being nice. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And Shadow Daddle, come here. And so that right there is just something that, ooh, excuse me again. It's just something that I think a lot of people, look at her. What you doing? That's my dog. What? Come on. Get up here with mommy. Say hi. Say hi, Shadow Shadow. Say hi. Stop, girl. Okay, enough, 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 enough. Enough. Okay. You say hi. You say hi. Did you say hi? Okay. That, that's my spoiled baby. She is, but she's just a baby, and that's, she's such a baby. She's having problems the last couple of days, honey. Yesterday she did well, but the day before yesterday, and it's because I fed her late. I feed her early, and then I was like, you know what, let me give her something else before we go to bed. And fed her but late. And honey woke up and she pooped. I was so, ooh, but I remember she's just a puppy, so I had to clean it up, and now she don't eat late anymore because we are not going to have those. We're not going to have those mistakes. That's one thing I can say about my dogs. My dogs, ooh, from my mouth to God ear, it continued to be like that. My dogs do not use the bathroom in the house. And, like I tell people, and you can't even really tell we have dogs. It's just us and our dogs. That's the most important. But as I was saying, it's just just be kind. A lot of times, a lot of people, tend to. Oh, and I used to do it. Oh, excuse me. I used to do it for real. I used to, oh my God, I used to do it all the time. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. So, no, you're not. You're being mean. You're being mean. That's not keeping it real. Keeping it real is respecting someone's feelings. Respecting who you're in a conversation with, respecting their boundaries, because I demand for mine to be respected. So I will respect anyone else. I try my best. I'm telling you, I never try to, you know, be over the boundaries. Look at my husband. Be be like that. You know what I'm saying? I try to respect everyone's boundaries because I really want you to respect mine. I don't care who you are. I want you to respect my boundaries. I want you to respect me. I want you to respect these doors when you walk into this house. I need you to respect everything in this house because, like I said, the wrong energy can come in your house, and when that wrong energy come into your house, it can just mess up everything in your home. It really can. People fail to realize it can mess up everything in your house. That little wrong, and you let somebody in there. You let somebody in with a jealous heart. You let somebody in there with envy. You let somebody in there with just no respect. All that kind of energy that comes into your house. You know what I'm saying? You let it into your house, and you be wondering, okay, why am I fighting more time? Why am I fighting, so much? Why am I, taking everything personal? Why am I doing, what I'm saying? You do that. Here's the situation. When William and I moved to Salt Lake City, we actually moved, and we actually moved in with friends. And so once we moved in with them, it was like, okay, it was their place and everything is, and so we was looking for a place for ourselves and everything. So we was just there. We was just planning on being there for a couple of days, couple of weeks, the longest, and everything. And so we was looking for a place and all of this and everything. And then one of my friends was like, what, we should just get a house together, and and see how that would go. And I was like, what, this is friend. And I was, to be totally honest, it was years and years and years ago. It was a bad situation, but we got past it, and we forgave. I forgave them, and everything. And that actually didn't pop in my mind, that situation, which it should have, but it didn't. So we found it. We found the place. The place that we found was amazing. Okay, so it was upstairs had you know room for their family, and downstairs was perfect for our family. You know what I'm saying? For us and our 3 dogs, perfect, perfect. We ain't had showers in. It was perfect for us. Okay, and so and and it was just William and I and the dogs and everything. And it was a 2-bedroom downstairs, and they had enough rooms for them and the kids and all that upstairs. So it was perfect. Why couldn't it be perfect? And then we were splitting it down the middle. You know what I'm saying? Everything. It was just everything was so perfect. Then it was like it was so much. It was so much chaos upstairs. It really was. It was so much chaos upstairs. It was, you know, arguing, just it was just so much chaos upstairs. And we would hear it from the vents and everything from being downstairs and everything. Then I would see it too. But I'm just saying, but it was just so much chaos. Then the couple, the infidelities they was dealing with, and all of this kind of stuff, and then they was bringing it around me. You know what I'm saying? All of this, it was just so much. Everything that I believed in was not even a factor in there, because it was their place upstairs. So ours was downstairs, but it was seeking all that energy, all that negativity, all that infidelity, the abuse, and all of that stuff was seeking through the vents to downstairs. And then I, then I was getting attitudes with my husband. We was arguing, and something we don't do. You know what I'm saying? It was that energy. Oh, and I realized, I was like, oh my God. This is exhuming. I'm telling you, I started getting petty. You know what I'm saying? Serious. Oh my God, I was arguing about stuff that I had no. It wouldn't have been an argument if you know what I'm saying. But that's what I say. It came into our life and everything, and we had to separate from that. And once it got bad, it went all the way. It was to a boiling point. And I remember one of my friend's sister, her and I was really close. God rest her soul. She passed away, I remember her sister telling me, I was talking to her sister on the phone, and her sister said, she said, when I heard y'all moved back in, when y'all moved back together, the first thing popped in my mind is, why would you do that? As her sister asked me that. She said, what happened the last time? And what happened the last time was a situation I'll talk about some other time. But she said, what happened the last time? Why would you, put yourself in that situation again? And she said, she said, it may not happen. She said, just have a game plan. She said, just have a game plan. Her sister told me that. And as soon as her sister, her sister told me that, and her sister didn't even know what was all going on in the house, because really wasn't nothing at that time going on in the house. But I thought about it, and I said, okay, let me secure my shit. And so the situation, it just got, because they brought that energy downstairs, and then, you know what I'm saying, I'm starting fussing with them about petty stuff that you shouldn't have been fussing with, you know what I'm saying, and all of this, then it just got so horrible, and when it got so horrible, it got to the point where where it became physical with them and my husband. You know what I'm saying? It became physical, and I was like, now this right here is something I cannot deal with. And so the police came. Oh my God, it was a whole nightmare. The police came. When the police came, honey, I'm the only one rational, so the police won't talk to the rational one. And so I told him, the situation and everything. And so the police, was like, okay, we're going to, what do you want to do? I said, I want them to leave, and everything. And so the police told them they had to leave. They like, wait a minute, we're upstairs. We got the kids and everything. And the police like, okay, they're down there. This is their home. They're paying just as much as you paying, and y'all is the one who's with the confusion. So y'all have to go. So once they left and everything, and so my situation was hurry up and just get everything into my name. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to. So you have to go through all the stuff you have to go through. So went through all that stuff and everything, and then went to court and everything. It was just. But thank you to her sister for for telling me, make sure you cover your butt this time, because last time this situation was bad for me. But I'm saying, but so anyway, and so went to court. The judge didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. Listen to me, because I was the rational person. I really was. I was the only one that was rational. I was calm, cool. I didn't get emotional. You know what I'm saying? I just dealt with it like, what, this has to be dealt with. This has to be dealt with, whichever way God is set for us. So after that, so all of the bills fell on us, because they had to leave and everything, and so all the bills fell on us, and it was a little overwhelming. But God, He made sure that we were good, because we actually stayed in the house for 2 years after that. After the situation, we stayed there for like 2 years after that, and it was, tell you, I couldn't be sitting at home talking to y'all. I had to be at work right now trying to make sure all them bills was paid. But no, but it was, you know what I'm saying? But it taught me something too, that I basically had to, realize that, what? I always have to have that peace. You know what I'm saying? When you invite chaos into your life and into your home, into every party, when you invite chaos, don't get mad when chaos start acting like chaos. And I had to, and I had to realize that, and I said, what, all of the times, that chaos was acting like chaos, and I always bypassed it and everything, and said, oh my God, but they're my friends, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that, and until I realized they really weren't my friends. I was an easy person that they could manipulate and just, you know what I'm saying, and just treat badly, and then say, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna be like, okay, that's my friend. I don't think they really meant it when they really did. Okay, so when you really, I'm telling you, if I could be so crazy sometimes, because when people show me who they are, I refuse to believe it, because I'm like, that ain't you. Now I'm not. Now if a person show me who they are, guess what? I'm believing it, even if they slip up. You know what I'm saying? Say, oh, this really ain't me. Guess what? It's you in my eyes now. So I ain't gonna be bothered like that. So at the end of the day, for me, that's the thing for me, and that, like I said, that's why I keep my home so secure. I keep it so safe. I just need to know that, we are safe. I need to know that my dogs are comfortable, in here. That's super important. Let me let this dog out, because she at this back door. You gotta go out, cause we about to go to the church in a couple of minutes. Like, what? 3:30. We gotta go out there. So let me go ahead. Stay out to 3:30, baby. At 3:30, she can come back in. But like I said, so I am. So that's why, that's why I protect. That's why I try to protect my peace so much. Is because I have given it away so many times in the hopes that that people wouldn't disrespect it, or people wouldn't treat it like like it meant nothing. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. So So that right there is the most important thing for me, is to stay focused on just stay focused on, you know, keeping your peace. It's about to be 2026. I swear to God, I never even imagined 2026. I didn't see 60 in my future. I didn't. I swear I didn't. You know, still, still might not make it, but you know what I'm saying. But I didn't see 60 in my future. I really didn't. So it's funny. But so at 60 and at 59, I'm refusing to allow anything in these doors that ain't going. Oh, that's not for the best. So anyway, I had a great chat with y'all. I truly, truly did. Let me look at me.